I have been fighting for good public education, it feels like, for a long time, and definitely more strongly since my daughter has started school in Los Angeles. My parents are 40-year veteran public school teachers. Public education is a huge part of what I believe in and in my life. And when we decided that it was time for my daughter to start school, we assumed that she would go to our local neighborhood public school. And we also assumed that we'd be involved. I mean, that we just knew that at this point, if you're going to be involved in public education, your daughter's going to go to public school, you will be involved as a parent. We saw that as part of our role, and so we got involved. And we had a great pre-K experience at our local neighborhood school. And then our daughter got into kindergarten, and all of a sudden the curriculum became really limiting, and the kids were at the desks all day long doing worksheets, and it was kindergarten. There was no show and tell, there was no garden time, there was no running and playing. It was just like, suddenly it felt really like we had gone into a bad place. And so as parents, we tried to be more involved. We were like, well, we'll come in and I went in and did a breathing and stretching class. My husband and I worked trying to get a grant, and we actually got a grant to start a garden. But the school district wouldn't let us break ground. The school district wouldn't let us dig. The school district said there were union people who had to do it, and it was going to cost 10 times what we could raise in a grant. And the frustration that we felt trying to be involved in this school that basically kept telling us, we don't really want your involvement. I even was on the school site council, and I just felt so frustrated because we had no autonomy over what we did with our money. It was mandated by the district. So it was very hard for me to start looking into charter schools. Even though I knew they were public schools, I had a bias against it that I think is a political sort of propaganda bias that I had been sold. And I thought, okay, I really don't want to do a charter school, but let me just go check this new charter school out called Wish Charter. And I walked in there, and it was like, oh, this is what I want for my daughter. It hadn't even opened yet, and I knew it was the right fit. Wish is an independent charter school. It is a public school, but because it's independent of this mammoth district, we can make decisions as a community about what we want our school to look like. We're founded on principles like collaborative teaching, inclusive classrooms, small class size, which we will raise extra money if we have to support, and co-teaching. It's like there's a co-teaching model there. But I think most importantly for me, there's a constructivist bent to our teaching, which basically means kids are addressed and they're known individually, and there's questions asked. What are you interested in? And then when we do math lessons, there's this feeling of like each kid is coming at it from where they are passionate. And it's just such a difference. It's like every child at the school is an individual, and with different abilities, with different challenges, with different struggles, and the teachers know all these children, and they build a community out of this really diverse group of children, as opposed to kind of having them all sit at their desks and do as they're told. It becomes much more of a hands-on, exploratory education. And it's just been an amazing experience. And the parents at this school, because we feel like we are welcome there, we just show up, we do things, we teach classes, we help out, we get involved. And it just feels like every person is valued. The teachers are so valued, the administration is a part of every single day. We wanted art classes, so we raised money for art classes. Then we renovated an old storage room and made it into what we call the Art Hut. We should call it the Art Palace, but it's the Art Hut. And the kids go there every day. We hired a music teacher. We just finished a Shakespeare residency for K to fourth graders because we raised a grant with Theatricum Botanicum in Topanga. They came in and we did Shakespeare 3 times a week. I mean, where do you get to do that? You know, and it's because it's kind of that idea of if you build it, they will come. You know, we are building this school, and it feels amazing. And just to finish with the garden idea, after struggling to try to break ground at this public school, the neighborhood school, we went to Wish, and I said, I would really love it if we could raise another grant and build a garden and da-da-da. And the principal said, well, can't we just all bring in shovels? And literally within 2 days, we had garden plots built by a construction worker dad. We had another bunch of parents who were good at gardening who brought in soil. Nobody said, wait, we have to test it through our, we just built a garden. And now we have organic gardening as part of the curriculum. And we use it in everything. We use it in math and science and language arts. How do you talk about the garden? Like everything is kind of interrelated. And because of that, my daughter is just a curious, excited, empathetic learner. And I give Wish so much of that credit. And I think the charter school movement gives us the opportunity as parents to make really good choices for our families and find what fits our family.